we are in the process of slipping down to a lower potential economic growth rate in Canada. It feels like the same thing that happened in the mid-1970s, interestingly enough, also a period of high inflation. And it took forever to everybody recognize it. And I think let's get on top of it. Let's recognize it. We got a lot of economic growth challenges. And we got a lot of climate change related challenges as well that we're not really doing very much about. We have the cost of climate change itself, which is not embedded in the budget outlook or anybody else's outlooks. We're supposed to be getting the carbon tax up to $170 by 2030. Here we're sitting in mid-2020. Nobody has a clue what the schedule for that. Well, every time there is a problem, there's an expectation the government will do something to solve it, and that's actually why we have governments and politicians, but in this particular case they can, and I would just prefer that they say that. Apparently the last budget that came out in April was demonstrating fiscal restraint. That's not what I saw. It's very much like the Bank of Canada. It actually provided net stimulus, just less than it had done before. So you have the Bank of Canada still actually applying stimulus because the interest rate is below their own estimate of the neutral rate, but you had $11 billion of new spending in the budget. And yes, that was way less than we saw in the 2021 budget, but it was still adding to stimulus, but that now is described as being part of the restraint that's going to pull down inflation. Well, sorry, no, it doesn't work that way. If you wanted to do that, you would have to lower spending or raise taxes. If we lower taxes, somebody at some time has to pay. And so you lower the tax for somebody and somebody else immediately pays for it. Or what we're doing of late is we lower taxes or we increase spending and we just borrow it. And that just means the next generation is going to pay for it. But the next generation is going to have all the resources absorbed dealing with climate change. We cannot keep continuing handling our bills. This is happening on our watch. It was created by our governments while they were their mandate. We can't just package that up, put a ribbon around it, and keep handing it to future generations. They've got enough to deal with. Well, interest rates are going up, so the change is significant. They are still low, and they will still, by historical standards, remain quite low. Even if we go into the range of the Bank of Canada's neutral 2 to 3%, and I think we'll go above that, by any historical benchmark other than the last 15 years, those are extraordinary low interest rates. Those are not the levels of interest rates that cause recession. When we've had monetary induced recessions before, the interest rates have had double digits. And I don't see that there's a case for that happening again.